We have a fantastic guest speaker here for you. Get ready to be smarter. My 2 seconds with this fine fella, Andy, I'm already a smarter human being. So, welcome, Andy. He is the chief marketer and chief marketing officer, and co-founder of Orbit Media Studios. And it is a pure pleasure and joy to have Andy here today. Andy, welcome.
Thank you for having me. Thank you, Jennifer.
Yes.
And old friends. I see Robert. I see Carolyn. There's people who are good. Ryan Irwin's in the chat. So a strong Chicago showing, and just thrilled to be partnering with Cloudways today. This is it's a group I've known for so long, and I love this topic. So this is the last session of the day, and we're running a little bit long, so I'm going to go a little bit quickly. And it's a deep well of possibilities and options. So let me just test my screen sharing and make sure that this works. If it doesn't, I don't know what we're going to do. Looks like it's working. You're seeing an endless infinity loop. Okay.
Beautiful.
Jennifer, how does that look?
Perfect.
Here we go. Okay, AI for SEO. I'm going to make the case that we're not going to be doing any lazy prompting. There are things that you can do in search and in an AI that will give you very weak results. I literally, with like 10 words, write a web page that ranks for spacecraft launch services. And it actually wrote me a web page. Here's the web page. It's awful. You just saw some websites reviewed. This is worse than all of them. If you measure this against its performance in search using any tool, here it's in MarketMuse, not good. Or in, for example, SEMrush's writing assistant, not good. It doesn't, there aren't, it's just keyword stuffed and horrible and embarrassment. And I'm going to take it off your screen right now. So that single prompt, according to SparkToro, that has data from Datos, they found that 35%, at least in these 4,000 sessions of ChatGPT, were single prompts. I don't ever expect any tool to ever give me great results with a single prompt. That's kind of absurd. So we're going to go deeper into this. I'm going to raise your expectations about performance, but lower your expectations about ease. It's a fantastic productivity tool, but we're going to have to work with it more than you might expect. Incidentally, that same report showed that 30% of the use of ChatGPT was for programming. Content and sales and marketing and other things actually did figure in, but programming is actually one of the fantastic applications for it. I want to keep this accessible, so I'm not using any fancy tools. It's just ChatGPT, but I am using the ChatGPT Plus account. That gives me ability to use GPT-4, which tests higher on standardized tests, things like the bar exam. And it allows me to upload things. So if I go to settings in beta, I turn on advanced data analysis. Now when I use ChatGPT, I'm going to do this several times. I'm going to go down to advanced data analysis and I get the little plus. That little plus is magic because it allows me to upload CSV files, upload HTML files, upload anything that I want. It'll do analysis on any file that I upload to it. Very, very powerful. But don't do that unless you have permission. I'm never going to upload anything that has sensitive healthcare, personal, or financial information, not uploading any data from my clients. And I'm uploading only anonymized data. You're going to see me do it several times, uploading data from data sources like GA4, Google Search Console, things like that. I'm going to go through as many of these methods as possible. So we're sharing the slides, but I'm not going to read them, but I'm going to go through some of these things now. Hopefully, at least a couple of these have some practical application for you. Let's start with the one you're probably expecting, on-page SEO edits using Google Search Console data. Okay, I'm going to take a single URL. I'm going to improve its relevance. The thesis is something like this. There are pages that rank for phrases that don't even appear on the page. If you've got a page that ranks for a phrase that doesn't even appear on the page, that page could easily indicate relevance in a much better way by simply using the phrases that it's already ranking for. Super simple, right? Obvious, solid SEO, normal, basic, straightforward tactic. We're looking for export buttons, and there's one. I'm at a specific URL in Google Search Console. Just click on a page, and it filters for that, automatically putting that up there. And I've excluded the branded queries by removing the business name, just a negative filter for the query for the brand. Click the export button, upload it to ChatGPT with a simple prompt. I'm giving you Google Search Console data, shows the search performance of a URL. Can you analyze? It can analyze. Next prompt. You're an expert SEO, highly proficient at keyword analysis. Merge the rows with very similar queries into a single row with a single representative marketing key phrase. Make sure to put the word marketing in front of key phrase, or it might just find phrases that are, stop words and simple grammatical type words. But what this is going to do is kind of consolidate my data down because it was a very long file. As you do so, combine the data, provide a link to download. Very important. Anytime you ask ChatGPT to modify a CSV file, which we do a lot, we're going to ask it to provide a link to download so we can validate, verify, double check. See that at the bottom? Download the aggregated data file right here. Click that, check it, looks good to me. Okay, good enough. List of key phrases. Look at these. Some of these things I'm ranking like 10th and 30th and 90th. Okay, my next prompt is, here's the page. I'm going to copy in the copy. Here's the page for the web page you just analyzed. Evaluate its content keyword usage and frequency for the key phrases in the data set. Okay, I copy in the page. It's going to look at the page, and it actually does some text pre-processing and key phrase extraction and fancy stuff. And then it starts to analyze in the end. It seems to be able to do that. Next prompt, suggest edits to the page that would help it rank higher by indicating relevance for key phrases in the data set. Focus on recommendations for improving the key, for including key phrases that are not on the page, but are in the data set. Very straightforward, right? It's ranking, but not high for a phrase that doesn't appear on the page. Improve relevance by incorporating more of the phrases for which it ranks, but aren't in the copy. By the way, while you're at it, improve the flow and clarity of the content, please. I'm not keyword stuffing here. I want it to read well for humans and highlight the recommended changes. I don't know where you come from, but where I come from, that looks like a pretty human readable, simple vernacular text. And then it's more keyword focused. It changed, the recommendation went from social media streams are crowded, fast flowing, and very competitive. I wrote that sentence, to navigating the crowded and competitive social media video landscape can be daunting. This, by the way, was an article about like making social media videos. It simply found places to incorporate the phrase. Nice little shortcut. Lots of examples in here. Browse through this deck, judge for yourself. If you don't like them, throw them away. If there's 10 that work, drop them in. That's it. Okay. All I'm doing is using ChatGPT to be my research analyst and my basic copy editor. Not unlike what you see from a lot of tools, but I didn't have to buy a tool. It's just ChatGPT. So I'm not here to advocate for any tools. And there's other tools that will do this in a very similar way. I'm just giving you examples of how AI can do SEO copy edits, or at least recommend them. Next, let's go up a little bit. Let's do it at scale a little bit. I'm going to optimize title tags for better click-through rates. Here, the thesis goes something like this. You have lots of things that rank, and some of them, and they all have click-through rates based on their position, and some of them have lower than expected click-through rates based on their search position. Why? Because the title tag, which is frequently the link that appears in Google, wasn't very compelling. It didn't leverage psychology. It didn't trigger the audience into getting curious or excited or feeling clarity that that's likely to solve their problem. So I want to find all the pages that have lower than expected click-through rates based on their search position. Okay. Now to do this, I need, of course, my ranking data. Here it is. Similar thing. I'm going to take the entire directory this time. Give me all my blog posts, anything that's in a directory called /blog. Hopefully, you all have your content marketing in a folder on a website that is easy to analyze because it's in a common folder. Exclude the branded queries again. Click export. I've got my file. A bunch of stuff had no clicks. Let's just clean that out. Now, you know what's not in this file is the titles. And I'm doing title tag optimization, right? So I need to go back into GA4 for that. And I'm going to create a report just for my pages and screens that has the primary dimension of page title and screen class. Nothing weird about that. Just a list of all of your URLs, right? I'm going to maybe just filter to look at just the blog. Looks like I made a filter to see just the blog. And then I'm going to add a secondary dimension just by clicking the little plus and making that the page path and screen class. You probably have discovered by now the GA4 code word for URL is page path. Okay, we're going to take the page path. So now I can export this. I don't need any of the metrics. I'm only trying to map these two dimensions together. I can see the title tags and the URLs. Now, anytime you export data from GA4, don't upload that into AI until you've deleted the top 9 rows. That garbage there isn't useful. It doesn't help. It's going to choke on that. So just go in there and remove those top 9 rows and then go ahead and upload. 2 files. I'm giving you the data from Google Search Console. Can you analyze? It can. Now I'm giving you data showing the title tags for each of those URLs. Remove the non-English ones. Merge them. Right? Provide a link to download. By the way, I've since discovered you can upload 2 files at once. So today I would probably do this with a single prompt. And it does so. Gives me a link to download the merged and deduplicated data. I'm going to click that link, check that file. Looks pretty good to me. there's my page titles. There's all my Google Search Console data. I basically added page titles to my Google Search Console data. Another prompt might exclude or remove all of the brands at the end. If your site is programmed such that the brand is appended at the end of all the page titles, you can have it remove that if you want. That's fine. Now, you're an expert analyzing search performance, and you're an expert at the psychology of click-through rates and maximizing engagement in the search results page. Which of these pages has lower than expected click-through rates based on its average search position? Okay, it drew a chart. I didn't really need the chart. That chart's not really helping me. Almost everything there is on the bottom row. But when I go deeper, it actually does have some interesting insights. You can see these are the ones that have lower than expected click-through rates. And even without the prompt, right, it started to make recommended changes. I'm going to go ahead and say these are excellent. I'm very happy with this response. At scale, I had ChatGPT recommend a whole bunch of new title tags that should have better click-through rates because they're just better at leveraging psychology. My old article that said 14 ways to say thank you to your network changed into 14 unique ways to say thank you and build your network. Look at the little benefit statement there. How about this one? There are two types of digital marketers. This was a fun article from years ago. The tortoise and the hare, right? The idea is that there are 10x marketers and 10% marketers. Optimizers like myself are 10% marketers. We're looking for ever better results. We iterate. They innovate. We iterate. You get the idea. Look at the revised title tag. Tortoise versus hare, already better, huh? Which type of digital marketer are you? Question mark. No doubt that would have a higher click-through rate. With the versus and the question mark, I'm very confident in this performance. So you get the idea. I went ahead and asked it to project the impact on traffic, which it did, 700 clicks a month. Well, how much more traffic would I get if all these title tag improvements brought all those URLs into the expected range of click-through rates based on their search position? 700 clicks. Look, it even figures out, by the way, I frequently type show your thinking in a prompt like this, because then it will go through its process, right? Show me step-by-step logic. Okay. Now, let's say I've got a page. This is a bit of a cheesy SEO method. I'm not super proud of this. I don't actually use this method, but I'm showing you now how to append to the bottom of a post, answers to more questions. Also a solid SEO tactic. I just think it's a little spammy because it's just adding stuff to the bottom. But it's an example. It should give you ideas on on other methods. So step one, we're going to load the content, then we're going to load in the questions, then we're going to find the gaps, then we're going to fill the gaps. You get the idea. A lot of what I'm doing in SEO is actually called, we consider to be gap analysis. AI for SEO has a lot to do with gap analysis, right? We've done that several times already. The following web page is optimized for the phrase, get ranked higher on Google. I wrote an article years ago. I've rewritten it several times. I rank for get ranked higher on Google. It's a perfectly fine key phrase. Nothing, it's a popular topic, obviously. So then I copy and paste in the article. I ask it to summarize the keyword relevance, and it does. Then I go search for the phrase, and I expand, collapse a bunch of times. And the people also ask box give me a whole bunch of related questions. Cool. Now I'm going to load those in. Which of the following questions are not directly answered by the web page? Which of the following questions are directly answered? Copy and paste. There's the related questions. Then it tells me gap analysis. Which questions I did not answer? Useful? Yes. Helpful? Important for search? Yes, yes, yes. So the next prompt is pretty obvious. Write a new detailed FAQ section that answers the questions that were not directly answered on the current page. Now, this is low page content, mostly for semantic SEO. You get the idea. The fact that AI is sort of, I joke, AI stands for average information. It consumed the internet and came back and wrote the, just gives you the basic sort of average of everything that it found. This is basic content, but probably good for search. Choose your own adventure. If you like that one, use it. If you don't use it. I'm just giving you ways to look for gaps, give it data, give it content, and have it find and fill the gaps. Now I'm going to do something a little bit more interesting, I think, which is to identify missing topics on a key page. This is not just good for the cheese, it's good for the mousetrap. In other words, it's not just about search optimization, it's about conversion optimization. I want to maximize the percentage of my visitors who take action. It's the junior SEO who cares just about rankings. It's the mid-career SEO who cares a lot about traffic. It's the pro-veteran, badass, bloodthirsty gladiator who wins in the end that focuses on quality of traffic and conversions, right? This is the highest level of SEO thinking. It's not just about attracting eyeballs. It's about attracting demand. So conversion optimization. I rarely do anything that isn't at least somewhat focused on conversion optimization. I've got a page here. This is a space launch services company. It's a spaceport. They target commercial satellite operators. This is a very interesting method that I encourage all of you to use later today. Use anytime. I start with the persona prompt. The persona prompt is a bit of data-driven empathy. It's going to allow me to talk to this synthetic version of my audience, which will help me get better insights and produce better content by aligning everything that I do with the actual, my audience's information needs. If you have well-defined personas, you can just copy those into ChatGPT or an ideal client profile, or you can just have it make one for you and then improve it. Build me a persona of who? A commercial satellite operator. Who works where? A global telecom company. List their roles, their goals, their challenges, their pain points, and their decision criteria for selecting a spaceship launch services company. Okay? It makes for me a persona. I've got their roles, their goals, their pain points, and their decision criteria for selecting a spaceship launch services company. I'm going to optimize a conversion-focused page, a sales page, a page with that generates demand, not a blog post, but a money page, right? Targeting a commercial intent key phrase. So it lists a bunch of stuff. Even 5 minutes of research, I could tell this is missing important things. So I'm going to ask it to add those important things. Commercial satellite operators care about insurance and risk management. They care about rideshare opportunities. They think about geopolitical considerations. So don't trust it. Don't believe it. Go improve it, add to it, fix it, edit it. Do not trust AI. It has no real world experience. It doesn't know your audience. So you should always, in every one of these methods, you should always go improve it, edit it, fix it, adjust it, keep training it. Now that you have a synthetic version of your audience, it is breathtakingly helpful. You could ask it for content strategy questions. What information do you need to do your job? Social questions. What social media posts are you likely to click on? SEO keyword research questions. What key phrases are you likely to search for? More content strategy, deep content, original research. What research studies could I publish that would make you, help you do your job? And then also just conversion focused questions. Hey, persona, what do you hate about looking for a commercial satellite launch operator, right? All of us should know what our audiences hate about looking for our services. You want to convert people? You need to address objections. Web pages, you probably covered this in that teardown just a minute ago, but pages that do not address a visitor's objections are very unlikely to convert. Why don't you take action on websites? It's because that page left an information gap. It didn't build confidence. It made unsupported claims. You have to align with in empathy, right? It's about aligning with the information needs of this audience and addressing answer their questions, address their objections, add supportive evidence. That plus a call to action, that's conversion optimization, right? This is what the thing about SEOs is that they're all cheese, no mousetrap, and that doesn't drive business outcomes in the end. Okay. So now this, and we're going to do this, we're going to combine both cheese and mousetrap. So here we go. The page is pretty lame. We've got only 325 words. It's just one header, long paragraphs. It's got a contact form. It doesn't rank high. So I'm going to give it that page and say, how well does this page align or not align with their information needs? And it analyzes the page and tells me whether the ways in which it did and did not align with the information needs. Already extremely useful. Now I know how this page does and does not handle my audience's top questions, right? The best pages emulate a sales conversation. Yes, they indicate relevance, but they also guide the visitor's eyes through a series of prioritized messages that build their confidence and trust the farther down the page they go. So that looks good, but there's gaps. My next prompt, here's a copy of another web page. Compare these two pages, create a matrix showing the two, show your thinking. Wow, very useful. On the left, I've got a column that shows my audience's prioritized information needs. And I've got my website and my competitor's website, and I can see the ways in which we did and did not address their needs, right? So even if there was no such thing as Google, this would be helpful just to figure out what people care about and are we addressing things that they aren't, right? We didn't mention environmental considerations or anything about customization. They did. And nobody talked about insurance or risk management. For a finer detail, you can ask it to show you the extent to which your site and your competitor's sites met their information needs. Okay, got some ideas. Let's do some SEO. I still need traffic, obviously. So I'm going to find those semantically related phrases. What are the semantically related phrases? Just search for the target key phrase and you'll see a giant list of semantically related phrases. write them down. Good method for that. Paper, pen, however you want to do it, spreadsheet, who cares? So spaceflight, rocket launch, CubeSat. The idea is that the best page on the internet for space launch services should also mention spaceflight, rocket launch, CubeSat. How about the People Also Ask box? Piles of relevant questions in there. How about the search results? Look down at search results. Satellite, launch vehicles, low Earth orbit. All of these are semantically related phrases. I know it. I've got proof positive. SEO is not just about using the target key phrase in the title, header, body text. We need to spread out our meaning, make the best page on the internet by touching on all the related subtopics, answering all the related questions. There are tools for this. SEMrush kind of does the same thing, right? Those are all semantically related phrases. Market Muse kind of does the same thing. These are all semantically related phrases. Now I'm going to load them into the AI and because it's a long list, I'm going to start by just asking it to categorize. Categorization is one of AI's superpowers. Give it a giant list of semantically related phrases. It's going to categorize those into topics. Launch services, launch vehicles, geographic regions, space entities. These are obviously things that the best page on the internet should touch on if it's a great page on the topic of space launch services. Now, the money prompt. Build me a table with 3 columns. In the first column, list all my persona's information needs. Prioritize them. In the second column, invent a brand new metric called conversion clarity. And on a scale of 0 to 5, show the ways in which my page can persuade and inform against each of those decision criteria. In the third column, invent another brand new metric called key phrase relevance. And on a scale of 0 to 5, show the extent to which my page touches on the semantically related phrases for each of those my persona's information needs. And here it is. Now, I've done SEO and website visitor psychology for 24 years. And I'm telling you right now, a lot of what you need to know to make a better page, to both attract and convert visitors, is right there on that chart. If that persona was accurate, you've got a roadmap here for a better page in both ways. I've got my audience, I've got data-driven empathy on the left, I've got the mousetrap in the middle and the cheese on the right. This is the most useful report I've ever seen in digital marketing, because this is really it's a conversion focused page. It's a lead gen goal. It's the audience focused thing. Like, it's got so much. To me, I'm a total nerd for digital. I'm an analytics SEO guy for decades. And this is the kind of thing that I love a little bit, right? Just look at that. Ooh, good stuff. Okay. I was curious what the AI actually did to devise these new metrics. And so I asked, and it showed me. Looks good. And then I was curious to take the next step. We're not just in a reporting tool here, right? This is not Looker Studio or SEMrush. This is a tool that can actually generate content, right? We're in the generative AI. So now I'm going to ask it this. You're an expert at both conversion copywriting and SEO, right? You're a dual threat marketer. That's what we're trying to be here, right? Dual threat marketers. Write an outline for a major revision to this page. I don't really even have to tell it anything but this. This outline will become the structure for a page that gets 5s across the board, because it already devised its own scoring metric, right? All I have to do is tell it that it's got to be a high-performing page from both attraction and conversion elements. And it does it. Okay. Don't trust it. Don't believe it. Don't use it without editing. But to me, that's not terrible. I would spread out the testimonials and case studies so that they appear throughout the page. Put supportive evidence next to the claim that it supports. Fill your page with evidence. Keyword-focused testimonials are both cheese and mousetrap, right? Build this page out so that it has a visual hierarchy. But as far as the outline goes, that is pretty good. I mean, you're not starting from and really, what are we doing here anyway? Trying to get a 20% greater efficiency. You should be there right here. 20% greater efficiency, not starting from a blank page. I'm calling this success, even if you had to rework half of it. Even if 80% of it was garbage, you got 20% value. Okay. Now, if I rewrote that page, and you know what the next prompt is, right? Write a draft for the page that gets 5s. You know what to do. I asked it to draw for me, I said, create for me an unusual visualization method that compares my original page to the new page were I to write against this outline. And here I have the side-by-side spider chart, radial bar chart, or area graph. I don't even know what to call it, where each arm is a decision criteria for my audience. Probably not that practical, but it's pretty, so I showed it. In the end, this is what it looks like when you do a better job in digital. I just chose a page that I had recently updated. The things that are good when done well, things that improve traffic also improve engagement, right? This is the average. Look at the average engagement time went up 78% as the traffic went up. So if you do a good job of semantic SEO, what are you doing? You're satisfying your audience's information needs, and that's also very, very good for engagement. Okay. I'm going to do some keyword first page audit and improvements. We're going to start with a keyword gap analysis. I'm just going to do the home page here. So I've got the keyword gap report with, this is like, you guys all know SEMrush, I'm sure. I think it's like 100 and something a month US. This is the keyword gap report. So it's a competitive analysis report. And I've got it set to exact URL for me and 3 other competitors. And when I scroll down, I'm going to just go to the all tab and take everything. Click the export button, grab all that stuff. Why not, right? We're doing this kind of at scale. And this is only 247 key phrases anyway. When I export that, I look at tools differently now because of AI. I ask myself, is this a clean and structured format for data? Like that Google Analytics thing's quite annoying. You have to delete the top 9 rows every time. SEMrush scores well for me on the ability to export clean data. It has too many columns, and I'll remove some of those columns. But here it is. The CPC is sometimes fun to let AI do analysis on that. It's like the conversion likelihood or something. So I'm going to give it this. You're an expert SEO and data marketing analyst. I'm giving you keyword data, showing you the keyword performance of your homepage compared to the keyword performance for competitors 1, 2, and 3. Can you analyze? And it does. Now I'm giving it a goal. Your goal is to revise my homepage to rank for more of the phrases that I do not rank for, but my competitors do rank for. This is a type of keyword research where I'm going to completely skip the competitive search volume and keyword difficulty and page score and authority score and domain authority, because this is just me comparing my page to their pages. These are real world business competitors. So improving my page against those keywords is also probably good for conversion. This is what my competitors are literally talking about. So what additional commercial intent phrases are the best opportunities? I'm asking it, show me the best opportunities, which it does and does well. That's not bad. It shows it left CPC in there, which I sort of like. That's interesting. Even for the SEO, it shows you the conversion, like the relative value of the phrase or the paid search equivalent or the chance that person will buy. So here they are. There's a list, a whole bunch of them. Phrases for which I don't rank, but they do rank, and it's got lots of the metrics in there. So those look like pretty good gaps, pretty good opportunities. And then, because I think it's interesting to see how it does it, I ask it to draw a chart visualizing the relative opportunity of the top 10 phrases in the analysis. So it devised its own new metric again, opportunity score, and it's search volume times blah, blah, blah. CPC is still in there. And when I scroll down, I could edit that list first, but when I get to it, I can see that one of these is better than the others. Ironically, it's a misspelling. So that's, look carefully. Don't trust it. Don't believe it. Validate. I am not here to tell you that this is some kind of magic button that you push. I'm working pretty hard with this tool, asking it for lots of stuff, and I'm checking it at every step of the way. Okay. Now, here's the copy for the home page. Apply your expertise in writing 3 additional paragraphs to target some of those high opportunity score phrases using the metric it devised. And I copy in the page. I'm going to ask it to incorporate each phrase a minimum of 2 times, use at least 10 of the phrases, exclude that weird irrelevant phrase, highlight changes in the copy, paste in the page. Here it comes. Judge for yourself. I'm not going to read all this. It looks a little bit dense to me. I would never write paragraphs that long. But this is an example of how you can take the next step after the analysis, find keyword gaps based on my competitors' rankings, prioritize those based on phrases I did or didn't use in the opportunity score of these certain criteria, including CPC, then go ahead and maybe write me some paragraphs about that. Interesting. Useful, maybe. It should align with the audience. It should read nicely. I am not the type of SEO that's lazy about this, where I'll just copy this, paste it into WordPress, click save, and track the phrase as if I did my job. That's not, that's a flavor. I don't really believe in any kind of SEO at scale. I spend an average of 12 to 15 hours on every article that I write. My success in search and marketing more generally comes from working harder than my competitors I'm really not trying to show you shortcuts here. I'm just showing you an alternate method to get powerful results with some, yes, greater efficiency, but mostly I'm looking for comprehensiveness. By the way, that's absurd. It says, if you read this, a world where the space industry is growing exponentially, Aurora Launch Services is proud to be a one-stop solution for space. What? One-stop solution? You're a spaceport. How many stops are there? There aren't layovers for rocket ships. That's a ridiculous thing to write. I think that's so funny. It's like, it's just using generic like copywriting language. So fix it, please. Don't just trust this. We're going to make it better. Great. Go in and fix that. There's not a one-stop solution. Of course, one stop. You're a spaceship. Moving on. Keyword realignment. All of us have pages that rank for phrases that we weren't even paying attention to. In fact, you weren't even paying attention to that page at all. So if you go into Google Search Console, scroll down, you're going to find some weird ones that you're like, what is that? Well, I totally forgot about that page, but it's somehow getting some performance. So what we're going to do is to focus on that page, but give it some love and align it with a better key phrase. So here I am looking at just the performance for that URL. I'm going to export this report to show all the phrases for which that page ranks. And I'm going to go take the page. Here I'm going to actually export the HTML for the page, save page as, get the HTML, and I'm uploading the search performance and the URL or the HTML. When you upload the HTML, it's a bit more useful for the SEO because it can see in there the meta description and the title tag. ChatGPT now has the vision, so you can. I'm actually starting, 2 days ago. I'm taking screenshots of web pages and uploading the screenshot and asking it to, do like a UX analysis or some other interesting methods I'll tell you later. But the prompt here sounds like this. I'm giving you the HTML for a blog post that attracts visitors from search. I'm also giving you Google Search Console data showing the phrases for which it ranks. You are an SEO. You are a keyword research expert. Your goal is to improve search traffic to this page. Go examine the HTML to determine the target key phrase for the page. Then examine the query data to see if the key phrase targeting should be adjusted. Would you realign it with a different phrase to improve performance? It takes a look, it comes back, it's making some recommendations, keyword targeting, getting some ideas, analysis of the relevance and the keyword performance. In the end, I ask it to recommend, it's like, should I recommend a phrase? And I asked it to. It comes back, top queries, clicks, impressions, position. That's the new target key phrase. I agree. That's a pretty good key. That's a perfectly fine key phrase for this page. Might sound a bit ambiguous and might sound like it's not super well aligned with intent. But remember, this was a thing that's just sitting out there. This is a URL I'd forgotten about years ago. This is just a striking distance opportunity for an asset that was not doing anything for me a minute ago. Suddenly, I think that it's a great opportunity. Remember, you'll always get better results by updating an older page than creating a new one. Always prioritize the improvement of older content before you create something new. Optimization, as the word suggests, is about keeping things up to date. Digital ink is never dry. You get far better results by improving old URLs than by updating it, by writing a new one. Suggest changes to that existing copy based on the new target key phrase, and please highlight the changes. Right? Anytime I'm doing this kind of keyword research stuff or SEO copy edit recommendations, I'm asking it to highlight the phrase, which it does and does pretty well. I don't have a problem with it really, any of this. It's a content strategy, creation, like you can see how it sort of worked that in there. Now, moving beyond the target key phrase, suggest other changes to copy that incorporate other key phrases for which the page ranks, but that do not appear in the copy. Remember, it's got GSC data and it's got the HTML. So it knows exactly what's on the page versus what's in the data set and can map them together and fill in those gaps. So it comes back and does that. I am pretty cool with all of this. None of this looks that weird to me. Relatively happy and would be comfortable making those edits to that page. Coming down to the wire, we've got just a few more methods and then we'll wrap. You guys have been gotten a lot of content already today. I know that we're at the end of a Prepathon, which is marathon themed. And so grateful for any of you that are still out there hanging in there for the end of this, this kind of turbo crash course AI SEO session. This time I'm going to find gaps, not just in a URL. This time I'm going to find gaps, not just in a paragraph of copy, a piece of content. This time I'm going to find gaps in entire content strategy by doing a bit of analysis that's really not even possible for, non-data scientists or, something that, Google does routinely, but most SEOs would never do. Semantic distance analysis, actual semantic distance analysis. This is not a beautified slide. A designer has not touched this yet. This is me just drawing things in PowerPoint. there's a gap, but you don't know where it is. You can't see gaps. It's hard for a human to see what's not there, right? You give me a list of key phrases and ask me what's missing. Oh, they're kind of difficult to do, right? That's not how the human brain works. But AI, perfect for that. Finds it easily, right? It can tell you exactly what's not on the page. So gap analysis, again, is one of my favorite uses for AI. This time I'm using gap analysis to find a missing piece from an entire content strategy. Okay, it works like this. I'm going to give it 2 files. Again, the pages from Google Search Console and my title tags from Google Analytics. I've basically done this already. You saw me export all the data from Google Search Console showing all the performance and all of my title tags and their URLs, so it can map those together. Merge them into one file, so there's a single row for each URL using the most representative title tag for each. Provide a link to download. Now, take a look at the page. It looks okay to me. I'm ready to proceed. You're an expert content strategist and an SEO, and you're looking for new content topics to cover. Infer topics from the title tags of the articles in that spreadsheet, and then identify gaps using semantic distance analysis. Semantic distance is the topical entities when visualized would have space between them. 2 very closely related topics would be literally close, and 2 more distant topics would be more distant. That's the semantic distance, close or far. So I'm asking it to identify gaps using semantic distance analysis and to suggest articles that would fill the gaps. That's actually a very simple prompt. I have no clue how to do that. I'm not a statistician, but here AI is a skills leveler. I'm able to do analysis similar to a statistician or data science can do, even without data science skills, because I've got ChatGPT as my superpowered, super eager, tireless, inexhaustible research assistant. Thank you, AI. So it goes down and actually does the analysis and comes back with some things that I think are literally, like, I'm only minutes into this analysis and it's got ideas for me that I'm totally on board with. This is how SEO and social media intersect with web design. That's actually a fun topic idea. Leveraging SEO through social media and SEO insights from social media analytics. That's also really a fun idea, right? Think about that for a minute. What kind of SEO ideas can you get from social media analytics? I'm sure there's some. We could, smart group of people here, we could come up with some. I've never thought about that before, but it fits between my other topics. So you can imagine just what the opportunities would be. Let's expand it. I want to see 50 subtopics. Proceed. Show me more shading, more nuance. It comes back with some advanced GA4 setup for SEO tracking. I don't know if setup's the word, but how to use GA4 to track SEO. I've never written that one. Got a very popular article about how to use GA4 to track social media traffic, but I never wrote the other one, the SEO one. This is an obvious opportunity to me. Wouldn't take that much work. It's it's triggering a ton of ideas already, right? I'm here in AI. If I wanted to, I could have this write the outline, although I do not personally use AI for that method. I enjoy writing things by hand and doing my own research. And just for fun, I had it draw a visualization. I don't think this is meaningful, but wow, it's pretty, isn't it? This is the semantic distance between articles. The every green X is one of my articles, and the red X is the article that I've never written that it suggested. I think one of the values of all these visualizations I've been showing you is just that you can go have better meetings. Go have a better meeting. You got a client, you got a boss, bring a chart. If you don't have data in your meetings, then the highest paid opinion wins. Have you noticed this? It's called the HIPPO, the highest paid person's opinion. Opinion versus opinion, the highest paid person's opinion wins. Opinion versus data, the data should win. But the data needs to be visual, right? Use your marketing skills in your marketing meetings by bringing a visual, and it's just a simple prompt that'll make you a chart. So I found that interesting. I do not get value from that, except that it's I could use that to try to persuade someone that I'm talking to take that action. Now, these semantic gaps are awesome to fill because they have natural advantages. I can reuse visuals and examples from other related articles. I can share that with influencers that contributed to my original article. I can notify editors, anyone who linked the original article, to the related articles. And I can link the internal linking bonanza, the opportunity, right? Like that thing's just waiting. It's a perfect target, right? It's going to link to everything and link from everything. It's got so many opportunities because it sits in the middle, right? So this is, it's gap analysis for something that you've made. I've got another method in here to find internal links. This is simply me showing all of the pages and screens, page title, page path, just the blog posts. Take this out of there, and I'm giving it. I'm asking it to categorize those into topics. Gave it a bunch of my art. I give it all of my articles with title tags from GA4. Asked, probably I could export those from WordPress. Never thought of that till now. But then I could ask it to just categorize all those things, which it does. WordPress, actually, it would have the categories maybe, right? If they're mapped onto your content strategy, it informed your blog categories, that's in that data set. Why didn't I think of that? I don't need AI to infer or categorize for me. I could just grab that. Anyway, so these are all the categorizations. It found them. And I'm going to ask it to create a list of internal linking opportunities, mapping together articles of similar topics, where the page that with the link has high traffic and the target page has high engagement. AI, make a bunch of topically relevant internal link recommendations where I can connect the best cheese to the best mousetraps. Perfect, right? It's like, what a great opportunity. I could link directly from the page that attracts the most visitors to the page that's converting or engaging the most visitors. So that's this kind of works at scale. I agree with every one of these recommendations. Source article, target article, they're all topically relevant. And you can see that some of these are attracting lots of visitors. Some of these are engaging visitors at a high rate. So you get the idea. We might end on time. One final method, I'm going to ask AI to pretend to be a Google Quality Rater. Now, I struggled to upload the Google Quality Rater guidelines to AI. I tried using Anthropic's Claude, which has higher character limits or token limits, I guess you'd say. I tried uploading these things to ChatGPT. In the end, it just kind of gave up because it actually has already read enough content about the Google Quality Rater guidelines that you don't need to give it the Google Quality Rater guidelines. It's basically read them all already, right? It read the internet. So, and the Rater guidelines have been out there for more than the year and a half. There's something that the data cutoff point of ChatGPT is, I think, either September 2021 or January 2022. I've seen it move around a little bit, but that's it understands what these guidelines are, right? The 80-page PDF was too big for it. But if I just go to a page, export the page, and then ask it to act as a Google Quality Rater, give it the page, or just paste in the content and tell it to rate the page against EAT. To assess the quality of the web page against Google's EAT criteria, it considers the following aspects. And it basically understands, it looks at the page from that perspective. There's a lot more about search than just EAT. And here again, I think that SEOs it's sort of silly that SEOs didn't seem to care about trust until they heard EAT was a search ranking factor. If you were a conversion optimizer, you were obsessed with trust from the beginning. You've always cared about trust. You always added authority. You added evidence and credentials and awards. And I mean, it's an example of how I think that some SEOs are too narrow-minded, that they didn't care about EAT until they thought about SEO. EAT was always the game. That was the job, to make pages that built trust. You're trying to convert somebody, right? Unless you're like a media website that you're trying to sell ads or something and just traffic is all you care about. But anyway, because people care about it, I'm doing it here. And this is my EAT guidelines. This one has, I give it a page, another web page, a competitor's page. I ask it to evaluate them. I give it yet another competitor page, ask it to evaluate them. And then I had it, this is a fun prompt, create a heat map matrix comparing 3 websites against a range of EAT criteria. Here they are, my site, 2 other sites, and you can see the extent to which these pages, according to ChatGPT, satisfied these types of EAT criteria: transparency, security, support. There's it's another chart you could bring to a meeting. And then finally, the last prompt would be something like, what should the first website do to get 5s across the board, the EAT criteria? And it's going to make a bunch of recommendations for you. I've got, there's another method in here that I could show, and a picture of my daughter, which makes my day happy. But I want to actually pull up one other thing in this chat, Jennifer, which is something new that I'm doing, and we're going over. I promised to go over a minute, so let me see if I can find this new method that I used just yesterday, because there is ChatGPT Vision now allows you to upload files, upload screenshots, and it can read the screenshot. So if I come on, Yeah, so this one was for a big presentation. I have a conference in 2 days, my own conference. And if I can
Congrats.
find it, yeah, pretty excited. If I could find this method, I uploaded a screenshot of, maybe I can just pull it up in, oh, no, it's going to be up here. I'm almost there. It's one of
Great.
these.
I feel like we're getting the backstage view here.
I know. I'm giving, this is my third webinar today.
Wow.
I'm giving millions of presentations,
Yeah.
not just on AI, but on all kinds of things. And then my conference is got like sold out event on Thursday. It's called Content Jam. Okay, this is what I want to show you. This is brand new. I learned this yesterday. So hot off the presses. ChatGPT now has a ChatGPT vision. So this is very new to me and to everyone maybe. I took a screenshot of that page. You saw it several times. It's like that Space Launch Services page.
Yep.
Now, here's the prompt. You are a conversion optimization expert skilled in the use of supportive evidence. Talk about EAT. The following types of evidence can be added to web pages: testimonials, case studies, success stories, awards, years in business, the size of your operation, the number of happy customers, bestsellers, etc. Right? Social proof, statistics, top to bottom. These are just me training the AI on a lot of ways in which pages can support their assertions with evidence. Right? This is our job here is to not make piles of unsupported marketing claims, is to fill our pages with evidence. Answers and evidence are the answer, evidence, call to action. That's how high converting pages work. So it actually can analyze the page. It reads the page. My prompt asked it to rate. Did you see that? Rate the uploaded page in its use of supportive evidence and its ability to build trust. Show your thinking. It's a little bit magical. Because I trained it on the types of evidence to look for, it went through and looked. It gave it a score of 31%. Overall trust building score. And I'm going to agree with every word in this final paragraph. For the persona of, remember, I'm in the same prompt, by the way. I'm in the same prompt with my persona. Remember my commercial satellite operator? For the persona of a commercial satellite operator in a large telecom company, trust is paramount. To further build trust, the web page would benefit from more specific customer testimonials, detailed success stories, clear statistics on their accomplishments. Additionally, showcase awards and partnerships and long-term experience. That's solid. That is 80%. All the sites, right? That teardown they made a minute ago of those website reviews. Go put any of those sites into ChatGPT, teach it on how to look for evidence, and then ask if most web pages completely lack any evidence at all, right? That's the game, is to add supportive evidence, conversion focus, details, social proof. And by the way, the social proof can frequently include key phrases. I could ask it to write draft keyword-focused testimonials and then get them approved by my client. Boy, we covered a lot. We are 4 minutes over. I'm going to stop sharing screen, see if anyone's still here.
Well, you got a lot of people here and a lot of questions.
Okay, let's take some.
Yeah. So how does artificial intelligence affect on-page SEO content optimization? I think you've gone over a lot of the answers to these questions, actually.
I mean, finding opportunities and then taking a stab at the draft of the improvement. So those are the two things. You find opportunities by finding a data source like Google Search Console that can help you identify keywords that or competitive analysis, SEMrush, or other high-ranking pages, Market Muse, the SEO writing assistant, and then asking it to analyze the page against its ability to incorporate any of those phrases. Next prompt is to write draft sentences, copy edits, anything that would help better indicate relevance for those phrases that are in the data set but not in the copy.
Fantastic. Here's another one. Can you discuss the role of AI in chatbots and virtual assistants for SEO?
For SEO, a chatbot is normally there as to engage with the visitor and help the visitor quickly find their answers. The chatbot, I never thought about it before, but off the top of my head, I can't think of any ways in which a chatbot is especially relevant to search. One possible exception would be to look at the chat logs and go see the questions your audience is asking, and then go back and confirm that you've incorporated the answers to those questions on the web page. If those answers are incorporate key phrases or the questions themselves or things that people search for, that could help SEO. But chatbots are traditionally more focused on the conversion than on the rankings.
Got it. Tell us about, with mobile SEO, how does AI help with responsive design and page optimization?
I mean, if you go to a page speed report like GT metrics, you can export that and then upload that into ChatGPT and ask it to identify opportunities. Just tell it that it's a page speed expert. Mobile optimization, if you go to GA4 and create an exploration that shows the engagement and conversion rates for mobile versus desktop, and export that data, give that to AI. AI could make recommendations for pages that have lower than expected engagement rates for mobile. It would suggest that you go try to improve those. You could also go to the audience report in GA4 and look at the screen size report and upload that data to AI and ask it which screen sizes have lower than expected engagement rates and conversion rates. That sometimes is one of the most valuable things I've ever done in GA was when I found that there was a site that had a 0% conversion rate for a certain version of Chrome. And the problem was the auto-complete box was blocking the buy button, and visitors were rage clicking and next to it and couldn't buy. So it's not common, but GA4 is actually a fantastic debugging tool for websites. If you go look at the browser version performance or screen resolution performance, you might get ideas there.
Great, great. Last question from the audience. Can you explain the concept of NLP, so natural language processing, and AI and its role with SEO?
Well, all of this is natural language processing. I think everything that AI is doing for us here is not just processing natural language per your prompt, but also generating natural language per its response. So it's sort of like, NLP and semantics and these things just kind of become built into the tool set because really that's what it's doing. It's an unbelievably detailed statistical model predicting the next token or word in the chain and giving you answers that are breathtakingly useful. So I think that a lot of what we're doing here is natural language processing. To do a better job of it, one thing I did not cover today was a part of a different presentation where I show how to give it lots of samples of your writing and teach it to write in your brand voice. The same way that in this model, I trained it on my persona, there's another approach where you train it on your brand voice. So you have one conversation, which is your persona. It's giving you insights, writing outlines. You have another conversation or chat where you've trained it on your voice and you're giving it now you move the outlines from one prompt from one response into the other. And then you ask it to write in your voice against that outline. That's for those that want to do it. That's how to create, data-driven empathy, audience-focused, but brand-aligned versions of content, whether it's for an email or a social post or an article.
Wow, I feel like we could just talk about this for the rest of forever. So super happy that you've been here. I do want to ask, because you were a guest last year, so wanted to ask, how's your experience been this year being a guest with us?
Oh, it's a fantastic, it's a global community. It's an advanced audience. I'm seeing old friends. I just hope that everyone here can stay connected. I'm going to put into the chat my LinkedIn. I hope other people maybe do the same. I think that there are networking benefits to virtual events if you do it right. Just see who else you've been talking to and connect with them and extend this conversation, and don't make this just one day. So the Prepathon can be something that we all get value from in more durable ways if we just try to stay connected. So two benefits to events: it's the content, but also the connections.
Oh, I couldn't have said that better. I love it, Andy. So that sounds like those are some great final words for the audience. Thank you so very much for being here. Again, a second year. Yes, for showing up. Good luck with your big conference. And I can't wait to be listening to you again. Thank you so much for being here. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Thank you, Andy, so much.
Thank you all. Thanks, Jennifer.
Yeah.
Thanks, Skyways. Take care. Bye-bye.
Fantastic. And for everybody else, this was our last session for today. So congrats. You made it through a fantastic, marvelous day of Prepathon here. We have really exciting stuff coming up tomorrow. So I want you to go home, rest, sleep, eat, whatever you do, and come back tomorrow. Tomorrow is growth and revenue. Growth and revenue. Yes and yes, please. Thank you. Right? So definitely you want to come back tomorrow. This has been the end of our first day of Prepathon. We've got our amazing guest for you tomorrow, but not as amazing as Andy. But
thank you.
Yes, okay. Wonderful all. Thank you.
See you on LinkedIn. Okay. Bye-bye, everyone.
Bye, all. Fantastic.